Hey everyone, it's Dr. Calatrello, and you have stumbled upon the orientation session for English 252 online here at Calhoun Community College. I thought it would be a good time to go ahead and update the orientation for the class, especially now that the whole institution, and for that matter, the whole state system in the community college system has moved to Canvas. Anyways, this is my contact information. You can find me here on the Decatur campus in office 354 here in Harris Hall. You see my office phone number here and also my email. Hey, and if you're ever on campus, if you're taking courses, some traditional courses, and you just want to bop on by and say hi, I would sure love to be able to put a face with your name. So let's talk just a little bit about the materials, textbooks, and maybe some resources that you might be interested in. I'm really excited. We're moving toward an exciting time in higher ed where textbooks are becoming more available in what's known as a open source format. So I've done this with English 251, and I'm doing it now with English 252. I've found a textbook called Writing the Nation, A Concise Introduction to American Literature. It's put out by our friends at North Georgia University Press. And so it's going to be available to you for free. There is no cost associated with it. You will have access to it immediately. You can view the text in any number of formats. You can use the links that I have created for you within each of the sort of the learning units or the modules. Or if you want to, you can download the entire PDF onto your device, whether that's a laptop or a tablet, whatever you like to work with. Or if you want to order a traditional textbook, a printed out, properly bound textbook. You can do that too, but there is a cost associated with that. And I will provide the link for that for you in the starting here learning unit. You may have already stumbled across it. There's an optional text. I'm sort of even reluctant to post it here, but there is a textbook that we've used here for many years called a writer's reference. It's a handbook. I'm never going to assign anything out of it, but if you're going to be a student for any period of time, it's good to have a handbook. And there are multiple copies of a writer's reference to be found, both online and certainly around the various labs and student success centers. The STAR Institute, on either campus will have these as well. You're going to need to also have a reliable internet access. I think that's pretty self-evident, but I'm just going to go ahead and state that. Also, we have found that as far as browsers go, Google Chrome is the one that seems to work best with the Canvas learning management system. So it's recommended that you use Chrome when you're accessing the course. You may just have a better experience with that than, say, Safari or some other kind of browser. But listen, let's talk about some additional resources. Calhoun has really stepped up its game. We have what's known as the Student Technology Support Center, and I'm going to post a link to it in a proper announcement for you all. But many students don't know about this resource, but let me tell you just a minute about what you can do with it. You can, if, for example, you need a new laptop or the one that you're working with now is just not performing the way you want it to be, or if it goes down, if you have a failure and you need a machine, you need a laptop to work. If you are an enrolled student, you can go to the Student Technology Support Center and you can check out a laptop for the entire semester. And it's going to come loaded and prefigured with the things that you will need. You're going to have Chrome already installed on it. You're going to have HonorLock already installed. You're going to have a working webcam and a working mic. It's a pretty sweet deal. So keep that in mind. I'll post a link to that here in the first week for you all. Another thing that you may have already stumbled across as well is that as students at Calhoun, you have access to Office 365 through your My Calhoun Experience portal. And just one thought on that is that while you can use the web-based versions of it, I have found, at least for my purposes, and I get it, I'm a little old school, but I've had a better experience with the Office 365 suite, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, those programs. I've had a better experience with those if I download those those programs onto my laptop. It just makes it better for me. So your mileage may vary, but I just thought I would share that with you. Two really great resources for you. And I mentioned briefly the Student Success Center here at Calhoun is top-notch, really is a good resource. And students don't often realize that you can go there. You can book online tutoring sessions. You can go in person, and have a great experience. There's no cost associated with it on all subjects. So make sure you use the resources that are available to you. That's one thing. It's one thing to have the resource, but if you don't even know it exists or you're not using it, you're not really getting the benefit of it. You may as well not even have it. So just keep that in mind in the days and the weeks ahead. All right. Well, the great news is that you are already off to a good start if you're sitting in front of this video, watching it and listening to me. So that's a great way to start. You're going to want to make sure that not only in this class but all your classes, you want to make sure that you read through the course syllabus very thoroughly to familiarize yourself with objectives, policies, guidelines, material of that nature. Always make sure that you ask questions when you have them. Also in the Start Here learning module, there's an opportunity for a brief introductory post on the discussion board. So I want to make sure that you guys do that. And there are a couple other items in there. There are some practice quizzes. I think one of them is an honor lock practice quiz, and the other one is just like a basic syllabus quiz. And I'm doing this, I ask you to complete these items because it's going to help you later on in the course. It's going to help you with the experience of taking assessments, not only in this class but in other classes as well. With the honor lock piece, you definitely want to make sure that you have that downloaded. I think it downloads as a Chrome extension to the browser. And again, the reason why I'm having students do this, particularly in the quizzes, is because sometimes students will say, why am I using honor lock on a little quiz? Well, yeah, it's a little quiz, but it gets you in the habit of using it. And most importantly, if there's a technical issue, we can experience it and identify it on a low-stakes assessment like a quiz, right? In other words, you don't want to wait until you get to a big exam and then have to sort out any technical issues that may arise. So this little Starting Here learning module is usually like the first week of the semester, and you need to complete all those items, I think, before the rest of the course or the next unit unlocks. At least that's the way I have it set right now. Just a few words, a few points about what you can expect with regards to a course overview. It's probably set up as many of your courses are here at Calhoun using Canvas. Usually instructors, we organize the course content into learning units. And so this course sort of fits that model. You're going to work your way through a series of learning units, and each unit consists of usually a number of different types of things. You're gonna certainly have reading assignments. More on that later. There are going to be some video lectures. If you took English 251 online with me, you'll see that there are a lot more videos in English 252. There are going to be some journal entries that I ask students to complete throughout the course. I think in total there are 5. At least that's the way it is right now. There are going to be some quizzes. I think there are 5 quizzes as well. And then some exams. There are, I think, at least 3 major exams and then maybe the final exam as well. All the work is completed online, and that work must be completed by the due dates that are listed for you, not only in the syllabus, but also posted on the actual learning modules or the learning units themselves there in Canvas. There is no extra credit available in the course. I often get students interested in that, particularly at the end of the semester. And so I encourage you to do your best work throughout the semester and not kind of be looking for anything extra to do at the end. So also just make sure you, again, see the syllabus for sort of other particular specifics regarding policies and guidelines. All right, I guess this is a little more specific than the previous slide about what to expect in the class. We'll have weekly announcements. I usually will post an announcement at least one a week. Usually those come Sunday night or very early Monday morning. Just to communicate with you, to check and see how you're doing, offer some gentle reminders, some nudges, in other words, regarding deadlines that may be on the horizon. Hey, there's going to be a lot of reading in this class, and it's a literature course, and so that's what you do in literature courses. There's just a lot of reading. I had a student say to me once, God, there's just a lot of reading in the class. And I said, yeah, it's like a math class. You're going to have a lot of numbers, right, in math classes, and there are going to be lots of problems to solve in math classes. And so when I explained that in those terms, the student kind of shook her head and she goes, oh, yeah, I kind of see what you're saying now. So there is a lot of reading. I don't think it's an unusual amount. But again, it's not something that you want to wait until the last minute, right? You're going to want to be self-disciplined and to stay on task, because if you try to do it all at the end, it's not going to work out very well for you. I think I mentioned here already, there are 3 exams. I try to keep the math pretty simple, each worth 100 points. And the exams are primarily objective, multiple choice, kinds of questions based not only on the reading, for example, the stories or maybe the poems, but some of the items will also come from the introductory material, both in the coursework and on the video lectures as well. And the quizzes are likewise structured the same, and the exams will include questions that you may have experienced already on the quizzes. I mentioned that there are some journal entries. There are 5 short journal entries I ask students to complete. Again, if you took English 251, it's based set up exactly the same. So these are short journal entries. They're worth 5 points each. They're 250 words. I give you a prompt. I ask you to respond to that prompt by using responding to the text and crafting a response. There's a rubric that's associated with the journal entry, so you might want to check that out as well. That might give you an idea what I'm looking for. Also, along the same lines, I will post, if I haven't already done so, some tips about writing journal entries on our discussion board. And you definitely want to read that and follow those tips if you want to have a good experience with the journals. Right now, I think we are set up to have a final exam at the end of the semester, and the final exam will be made up of questions that are randomized from previous exams in the semester. Okay. This is the way the course is organized at the time of this recording. It is always subject to change, so again, that's why you want to make sure you check out that syllabus always at the beginning of the semester. All right. Just a few words on questions and comments. Briefly, you're going to have them. That's what comes, especially in a course where we're doing a lot of reading and thinking about literature. At some point, we want to have some kind of conversation about those. And in part, that's what the journal entries are designed to do, is to give you an opportunity, right, to express and respond to something that you've read. And that's really one of the greatest, I think, one of the greatest aspects of reading great books and great stories, particularly by American writers, is that when you're doing that, you know what you're really doing is you're having a conversation with somebody, usually a pretty smart person. And when we engage with a text, a short story, a poem, or a novel, a play, those kinds of things, that's what we're doing, really. We're having a conversation with a writer. We're listening to them. We're seeing the world through their eyes. We're watching characters move through the world in a way that oftentimes we can learn from. And that's usually pretty satisfying. We see characters grow. We see them challenged. That's what we do as human beings, right? Anyway, you're going to be, at some point, I think, throughout the semester, you're going to be moved, I would hope so, to have a question, to have a response, to have a comment. That's what we have the discussion board for. I look forward to that, and I encourage you to keep that in mind. This is the opportunity in a class like this to really read some of the great texts, the great pieces that our country's produced. And I sometimes will encourage students to think about it this way, is that, when else are you ever going to have an opportunity, right, to sit and with these authors, with these books, these classics, and read them? It's courses like this, I think, that provide that experience. That once you get out of school and you get a job and you've got a family, it's harder to do that. You have to be someone who's inclined already to read than more so than not. Anyway, I'm drifting off here. It's a Sunday morning. I'm down at the office, and I'm going to move on to the next slide. So I guess that was the last slide. So just going to sign off here with two of my good friends, Charlie the dog and Pearl the dog. Another thing too, I meant to mention this earlier on. When you're watching these videos, they're on YouTube, which is nice because YouTube never goes down. So the other thing, you can always bump up like the playback speed on the YouTube lectures if you want to do that, because sometimes I talk very slowly, although I'm making an intentional effort here to not speak quite as slowly as I do on some of these videos. So bumping up the playback speed is always a good thing. Well, not always a good thing, but just something that you can do, and you might not it may not always occur to you to do so, all right? So anyway, I'm going to sign off. Hope you guys enjoy the course. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll see you soon.